what's up guys, it's me Vivi and welcome back to some Ratchet and Clank. Now very recently, a bunch of brand new awesome Ratchet and Clank PS4 gameplays have been revealed to the public. I decided to go over them, so the point of this video is to kind of analyze these gameplays a bit. So with that being said, let's get on with it. Now the first gameplay is on Planet Novalis. Novalis was the second planet in the original. Now according to the galactic map, which has also been revealed to the public, Novalis is number 2 in the upcoming game. Now for the enemies, they look very recognizable. They just simply look very updated. They pretty much look awesome, guys. Now the map's layout looks about the same. I mean, we started off on the transportation pod. Now we also had the transportation pod back on the PS2. Now it's probably due to nostalgia reasons, but overall, the place looks exactly like it did on the PS2, but with amazing graphics basically. Now guys, Crack in Time already had PS4 material. Now the graphics for this one just blows us away. Like it literally feels like a Pixar movie. Now if we look at the shortcut menu, I guess the game starts with the fusion grenade and the combuster. Now judging by these weapons, the game decided to go with weapons from the Future series. And I think I even saw a screenshot of Ratchet on Velden using the fusion grenade, so yeah, I guess we start with fusion grenade. Now the major difference with the reimagining and the classic is Ratchet has an armor and an Omni Wrench. Now the major difference between the classic game and this one is Ratchet's appearance. He has an armor and the Omni Wrench. Before watching the very first gameplay video, I was expecting his regular wrench to be in the game. Now since it's a reimagining, I guess it makes sense, right? Now for this guy, he also had a design change. He looks pretty recognizable, I'd say. Now there's one thing I've realized, guys. Characters seem to move a lot less during cutscenes, especially when we're talking about Ratchet and Clank. Now since we're all used to how characters moved in the past games, this just feels, I don't know, kind of odd. Now anyways, Skid McMarks is basically confirmed. Well, he was in the first game to begin with, so yeah, it was expected. Now in this screenshot, we noticed the hoverboard girl host of Blackwater City. She appeared in the very first game as well. Now we also noticed Juanita for a brief moment. Now Skid McMarks' design isn't that different if we compare it to the original. He was green and now he's yellow, but he's very recognizable. However, his voice actor is different. Now the current voice actor is pretty good, but I guess I prefer the original, I don't know.
I was supposed to have this.
Stop him! He's got the schematics!
Help! Someone! Call my agent! Call my publicist! Actually, don't call either of those people. Call someone who cares about me!
Alright, we also see Skid's agent for a brief moment. Now we know that Skid has an agent, but I kind of got confused at first. I'll explain that later. Like I said, the map looks very similar. I mean, look at this area where we have the sewer slide from Ratchet and Clank 1. Now jumping from wall to wall is back. This was pretty much absent later on in the series, but it's kind of good to see it come back. Now one thing I already love from this gameplay is Quark's narrating.
Ratchet jumped and seriously, what's with all the jumping?
I felt like it's an extra bonus they didn't have to add in, but I guess they decided to go with it and make the game a lot more entertaining. A cool addition is this hologram looking thing that helps players locate the bolt crank. Alright, now the moment you've all been waiting for, well, probably not. No plumber's crack. I just love how Insomniac decided to start the cutscene by showing his behind. Now during this cutscene, the plumber basically referenced the reboot, which is pretty funny.
Oh, hello there. I'm glad you're here. Hey, have we met before? 'Cause I'm getting a touch of the old deja vu.
I don't think so.
Huh. Well, guess the old think tank could use a good plumbing. Anywho,
So the cutscene ends with the plumber handing out the infobot to Ratchet. I like how they decided to stick to the original, however, the infobot scene wasn't included in this gameplay. Now in the original, the bot showed Quark advertising Al's RoboShack on Planet Kerwan. And guys, that's pretty much it for Novalis, I'd say. Alright, so the second revealed gameplay is on Kerwan. According to the galactic map, Kerwan is the third planet we'll be visiting. Now just seeing the scenery is absolutely crazy. Like Insomniac has done some amazing work. Props guys. Now the gameplay starts with our duo riding a ship all over the city. Now, the only time this happened in the series was in Up Here Arsenal. I think we had a mission with the Galactic Rangers if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, in this part of the game we can hear Alaris, the brain of the Galactic Rangers.
Transports! Those transports are dropping off warbots all over the city.
Not on my watch.
Now the ship you see right here is Mr. Microns, one of Ratchet's customers who was mentioned in the novel, for those of you who haven't read it. Now for the gameplay, it looks pretty fluid. Now some games out there have like wonky controls, so it's pretty cool to see that Ratchet and Clank has a pretty smooth gameplay. Now the warship you see here was also in the novel, and the novel was pretty good guys, I recommend it. Alright, this cutscene is obviously from the movie, we can tell. The amount of detail just improved immensely. We hear Dallas with full dialogue this time. What I mean with full dialogue is when we first saw the Ratchet and Clank movie trailer, well, was it the third one I think? Dallas only said Ratchet.
Questions on there, but...
Dallas Wanamaker here. Does this mean you'll be asking these two heroes to join the Rangers?
Say what now?
Now if you've read the novel, you'd be easily recognizing these events. Now we see Quark in this prison-looking facility, right beside Sheev Helix, who we mistakenly thought of being Skid's agent at first. Now there was this Insomniac Games panel with a bunch of character artists and tech guys. Character artists at Insomniac Games had mentioned that Sheev Helix was Skid's agent, but completely transformed, if I'm not mistaken. But that's not the case. That's how this whole situation got confusing, so Skid does have an agent. Skid's agent is very much present and looks the same overall. Judging by the fact that Quark is talking in prison, I guess that's when he's narrating the whole story.
Oh, I don't see why not. And that is how dumb luck helped a rookie Lombax take out a Blargian warship.
Now later on in the gameplay, a Blarg sets a bomb on the ship, so the ship explodes and gameplay continues on foot. Now the shortcut menu this time contains the new proton drum and pyrocitor. Now these weapons are probably available on this planet or Novalis. We still don't know. Now have we seen the Gadgetron yet? I don't know, I'm not sure. Now it seems like the enemies attacking are a lot more animated than usual. The Blarg on the helicopter looking thing seems to be moving out of his seat at one point. He also has googly eyes going on, that's pretty funny. Now overall, enemies are the same. We have the Blargs, Robodogs, they were all present in the classic. We now see the proton drum into play where it seems to be shooting a laser thingy at some time interval. Now later on we see Al. It's nice to see that they're sticking to the original game. What I mean by that is that I thought, well, we all thought that Al was only on Pokitaru because we saw a screenshot, right? However, Ratchet seems a lot more mature than he did in the first game when meeting Al. This is what he mentioned: "I've died and gone to nerd heaven."
Holy cow. I've died and gone to nerd heaven.
Now I don't remember him saying that on the PS2, so I guess Ratchet is a lot more friendly and more mature. Okay, it seems like they kept Al's original voice actor, so that's pretty sweet.
Me about the ones in need of a new helipack upgrade?
You must be Big Al. It is nice to meet you. I am Clank.
Now one thing caught my attention is how they put a Spyro reference. The reference is basically Ratchet mentioning the poster. Now could this mean anything for the future of Spyro perhaps? I completely doubt it guys, but who knows, anything can happen, right? Not only Spyro, but they also made a Resistance reference, it's pretty funny.
Look at this. They have my blaster runs hot. Fungoid with a stick. Oh, Spyro the Space Moose. They even have the Mega Limited Ultra Edition of Intransigence Fall of Blarg.
That one
Now Al's design looks pretty sweet. Nothing to say about that. And that's pretty much it for Kerwan. Now the third gameplay is on Planet Aridia. Like I mentioned before, the graphics look simply beautiful. The maps even look very similar to the original. The enemies look the same but updated as well. Now in the shortcut menu, we now notice the groovitron, the brand new pixelizer, and the buzzblades. I guess we can pick up these weapons on Kerwan. I might be mistaken though. Now the groovitron speed is pretty sick. I like it. I think the pixelizer will be one of my favorites though. It looks very simple but yet fun to use. Although they're changing a few things in the original story, the planets overall look pretty much the same, and I'm happy that they decided to do so. It was probably due to nostalgia. Aridia in the original was all about the swing shot, and it seems like it's the same for Aridia in this game. Now the Hydro Displacer is back, and pretty much seems to have the same look, and according to Quark, it was designed by Nefarious. I'm kind of liking how they're mixing Nefarious and weapon creating and stuff like that from Up Your Arsenal. Now what's interesting is that we don't get the Trespasser here, but we did in the original. Plus the Hydro Displacer was originally found by Clank on the Blarg station. I don't know if you guys remember. I mentioned that hologram thing on Bolt Crank, right? It doesn't seem to be here now. I guess it was some kind of tutorial? Anyways, now we see Ratchet's nanotech upgrade by 10, and the effect is okay I guess. But I really miss that sound effect from going commando, I don't know. There was something special to it. Childhood. Now the Raritanium sparkly effect looks pretty neat. I mean, it's the PS4 and Ratchet and Clank we're talking about. Of course it's gonna look great. Now the gameplay ends with Skid McMarks' agent. Now they decided to leave the guy green, but turned Skid McMarks yellow. The agent now seems to have the same facial structure as Skid. His face was rounder in the original. That's pretty much the overall change for these guys. Now I mentioned the Sheev Helix, right? For this character, we don't know much about him. We only know that he was Quark's cellmate, that's pretty much it. Oh, and about Skid McMarks, now in the original game he crash landed on Planet Aridia. Now in this game, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like he actually lives on Planet Aridia. In the beginning of the gameplay we saw this statue of him and his agent. And we also hear his voice through the speakers.
See, you two dudes found my store. Hey, it doesn't look like much now, but it's gonna be awesome! We're gonna have hoverboards, a swing shot course, and even a 24-hour taco stand for those late-night munchy attacks.
Other than that, this is pretty much it for the content of this video. Now overall, this game looks super amazing, from character designs to graphics. I mean, Insomniac has done some amazing work. Although the story has some few changes, the maps, layouts, planets, and stuff like that look very similar to the classic. And I'm glad that Insomniac decided to go with this idea. If I explain this differently, Insomniac didn't want to step away too much from the classic, and this is what we got as a result. An amazing looking game. Now apart from these gameplays, there's an actual 80-minute gameplay on YouTube. Now if I'm not mistaken, this gameplay includes Blackwater City, Hoverboard Girl, Hoverboard Races, the Trespasser, and the Rhino. So basically the Rhino has been confirmed. And what's special about the Rhino in this game is that it doesn't require any holoplans. It requires cards. So I guess Insomniac Games decided to completely ditch the idea of holoplans, so they decided to go with something new, cards. Now would you like me to go over some parts of that video? If so, mention it in the comments. Other than that, I've been Vivi, thanks for watching guys, and until next time. Oh my god, the hype is real!